Welcome back to Weekend Edition. Now, our island community was recently represented in the 2012 Summer Olympics in London by 8 amazing local athletes, and they're joining me now, at least part of them, more than half of Team Guam, to share their Olympic experience. These are our Olympians: Ric Blas Jr., who of course competed in judo; Derek Horton, who was Guam cyclist; runner Derek Mandell; and from the Team Guam swim team, Pilar Shimizu, and Chris Duenas and Derek Mandell in the center back there. Thank you all for being here and everything. It's a pleasure to meet you. You guys truly are our heroes. You know, so many countries and territories say that about, their Olympians. We were so proud to have you guys. And when all of us were watching NBC here and, Team Guam walked out and Maria Dunn was holding the flag, everybody here, everybody teared up a little bit, myself included. So really good to have you guys on. Welcome back.
It's good to be here.
All right, so it's been a while, 17 days in London. Let me start, and we'll start with, the elder statesman, I guess. Sorry to call you out there, Derek, but we're about the same age, so, you and I are...
I'm still a little older.
Yeah. Well, what was your overall Olympic experience now in terms of how you felt you competed and what you were able to learn, not only from your fellow members of Team Guam, but from other Olympians from all over the world?
I guess we all learned a lot. It's hard to quantify how much you learn just from all the daily experiences, but just as far as the worth of the whole Olympic experience was just incredible, overwhelming sometimes. Mm-hmm. I mean, looking back, there's obviously things you would do differently as far as prepping for your race, your event, training, but on the day of, you just, put everything together with whatever you can and have a blast.
Mm-hmm. And your actual event for cycling and everything was incredibly competitive this year. I mean, we watched it on NBC and they said that was one of the more
one of the most
intense
stacked fields.
Yeah.
I think I was the only one out of the entire field that didn't race World Cups. Mm-hmm. So,
wow.
Everyone pretty much races at a professional level year-round, and I was just the only one that didn't. Okay,
and of course, you guys were telling me before we started taping, all the members of Team Guam, you guys tried to spend as much time with each other as possible. You guys would get together and at least have a meal together, hang out and, celebrate that Guamanian camaraderie. And Derek, up there, your teammates, before we started, they said you were actually kind of like the brains of the group, and you were able to identify everybody and say, yeah, that's so-and-so from some country and everything. What were you able to learn, and what was your Olympic experience going out there and just, being able to spend time with your fellow Guamanians and other athletes?
Well, when you're on the big stage like that, it's kind of hard to believe that you're actually there. On the competition field, when I stepped on the track, the level of competition was just way up there, and the guy that won my heat won the silver medal, and with one of the fastest times ever, and it's just amazing to be a part of that. I guess when you're saying knowing everybody, I guess I read too much, and so I kind of helped identify some people in the cafeteria for the team.
Well, what was the very first thing you ate when your competition was done?
Right after, went straight to McDonald's, got a Big Mac, fries, milkshake, and other things in one meal. So.
Well, I'm sure you could burn off those calories in maybe one heat and everything. All right, so good. So we're going to go from the track now to the pool. So our 2 members of the swim team right there, Chris Duenas and Pilar Shimizu. And Chris, we're going to start with you. Yep. Your sport was probably the most hyped at this year's Olympics because of everything that happened with Ryan Lochte and Michael Phelps, as well as the exploits of the women's swim team. Yep. How is it to be in that kind of company and have the spotlight constantly on your sport?
Well, we're just a small island, and you see all these reporters coming in, and it's not for you, but when you walk in, it's kind of intimidating to see these other guys. But being at that competition, and I do swim meets maybe 6-7 times a year, and that one was just every Olympics from Beijing to this one, I learned more and more, so just being around those guys, and we're all there for a general purpose, and I just think that just makes you want to work harder and try and get better.
Okay, so Pilar, being at a pool of that venue is, I would imagine, a lot more intimidating, obviously more dramatic than being down in the Agana pool and having your family and friends there cheer you on. What was it like to actually walk into the venue and take your stand and get ready on the pedal, on the podium, I should say, and get ready to take off into the pool with that many people watching?
Since I was the first heat of my event, like when the commentator announces each event, the crowd literally goes wild. And since I was in the first heat, the crowd was still cheering. So to be able to walk on that deck while they're cheering, such an adrenaline rush. And when I got on the blocks, it was just so exciting. Nothing I've ever felt before.
All right, so of course I said podium or pedestal, I meant blocks. And you can tell I didn't do swimming. Okay, so as for the big boy here, Rick, you are a veteran of Olympics. You know, so many Guamanians look up to you in terms of the way you carry yourself and the way you conduct your sport. You've been such an inspiration for young people. And you carried the Guam flag in the past Olympics, did you not?
In Beijing, yes.
Yeah, in Beijing. And Maria did it this year. Did you have any words of wisdom or inspiration before, you know, Team Guam actually went out there and took the track?
To Maria? Definitely. I mean, Maria's a great athlete herself, and she has tons of confidence. So it's not much you could have said to her, and she did it real well. So, you know, all I said was, don't slip.
Our guys in the back were actually saying that too. It's like, what's the biggest thing on your mind? It's like, don't drop the flag.
Well, I almost slipped in Beijing. You know, there's that little carpet you walk on walk on the canvas to paint the thing, and right when I stepped on it, my foot just slipped forward, and I swear I slipped like 5 feet.
Well, how was this Olympics? Was it different in a very significant way for you? For, you know, it's like, you know, for some people, like, wow, my entire Olympic experience was, you know, there's all these people and there's these athletes and cameras and internet coverage. But, you know, were you a little bit more used to it this time around?
I wouldn't say used to it. It was totally different from Beijing. I mean, from the venues to the people. Me personally, it was different because I won a match, you know, and just that experience afterwards was amazing. But I guess the biggest difference would be, you know, the feel of Team Guam and how we all came together before and after our tournaments, and it was nothing but support. It was great.
Okay, well, let's just go around real quickly now. What were you guys able to learn maybe from either observing some of the other athletes, or maybe if you guys interacted with other people in terms of the way they prepare themselves or the way they train or the way they condition their bodies, you know, to make not only your own competition better, but, you know, hopefully for future Guam athletes, and say, you know, like, this is how some of the other people are doing it. We're doing it great over here, but this is how, you know, we're taking in other types of input. Were you guys able to learn anything from, you know, other countries or other athletes?
I'm sure we all took in something, you know, from the other countries. I think one of the things we noticed most was the level of organization, support, staff from some of the bigger countries, you know, compared to the small, you know, contingents like us. Mm-hmm. I mean, like on the mountain bike course, you have 3 riders for France. They probably had 10 people helping that team. And then, you know, you had me. I was pretty much on the course by myself every day, trying to teach myself the lines to take and stuff like that. And these guys, they were actually able to have, you know, that one-to-one with their coach on the pool in the gym with these guys. So, but I'm sure they probably got a lot of it too.
Yeah, and
okay, well, very cool. Okay, so what I'd like to do is right now, everybody raise your hand. Of the 5 of you, and of course there's 3 members of Team Guam that didn't compete in the 2012 games. Raise your hand if you will represent our island in the 2016 games in Rio. Raise your hand if you're going to. Okay, well, Pilar, you're 16. So I'd say you've at least got 2, possibly 3, maybe even 4 Olympics ahead of you.
5.
How do you think you're going to prepare for the next Olympics, knowing what you know now?
I'm definitely going to regroup, think a little bit more about what I'm going to do over the next 4 years. I'll be headed to college in a year, so that will be training harder will definitely be part of the plan for the next 4 years. Yeah, I plan to actually qualify for 2016.
All right, outstanding. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to all of you. Once again, we can't stress this enough, how unbelievably proud all of us on Guam were to see you guys actually walking out there representing our island. Guam was in really, really capable hands, and we're just so very proud to have you guys back here representing us. And one of these days, you know, one Guam athlete is going to come back here. We're going to have a big, shiny gold medal that everybody's going to be so proud of. So thank you for representing our island. We couldn't be in better hands.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks a lot. Now stay tuned. Weekend Edition will be back right after this.